Welcome to the Heartbreak Chronicles, where every story is a raw reflection of life. Hit that subscribe button to stay tuned, give us a like to show your support, and share this episode with your friends. Don't forget to leave a comment and let us know what you think. Now, let's dive into today's story. My name is Nathan. I'm a senior mechanical engineer, vice president in a logistics company. My wife Olivia and I have been married for 18 years. We have an 18-year-old daughter, Sophia. I always thought we were happily married, until the night that changed everything. That night, I just finished a nice round of golf. Back home, Olivia was sitting in the living room, and she said to me with a serious look on her face, "Nathan, we need to talk." I had a sinking feeling that something bad was about to happen. I sat down and tried to stay calm. "What's the matter, honey?" Olivia takes a deep breath and begins. "Nathan, you know how much I love you, right? We've been together 20 years, married 18. I've devoted my life to you and Sophia." I nodded, and the feeling of unease grew. Of course, I never doubted it. "Nathan," she continued, "as we age, our bodies, our energy, and our sexuality change. You've always been a wonderful lover, but as you've gotten older, you're having a hard time keeping up. It's natural. I understand." I felt a pang of discomfort. I didn't like where the conversation was going. No man wants to hear his wife question his manhood. Olivia continues, "It's different for me. I need intimacy almost every day. Don't you think I feel the same way, Olivia?" I'm trying to stay calm. "I love you and want to take care of you, but you can't exactly fight biology." "I know and I understand that. It's just part of aging," she replied. I feel my patience slipping away. "Well, Olivia, you've pointed out my sexual shortcomings. What are you trying to say?" "Nathan, please understand. I'm not trying to put you down. It's hard for me to say. I hope we can discuss it calmly." Olivia's voice is a little shaky. I stayed silent and waited for her to continue. "Nathan, I've had a lover for almost a year." She finally admitted it, her voice choked. I'm too shocked to speak. She went on, trying to fill the silence. "We see each other a couple times a week. I don't love him. I love you. I try to keep everything normal at home. I'm always there when you want me, and that won't change. You're my husband. Your needs always come first. So you're going to keep this up?" I asked, my voice trembling with suppressed anger. "Yes, Nathan, my needs have increased. I need this. But it won't change the way I feel about you or the intimacy between us," she replied in a firm voice. "Who is he?" I questioned, my voice rising. "I won't tell you, not your friends or coworkers. Just someone I know," she replied flatly. "You expect me to accept this because I love you? I can't believe it. Yes, I know you love me and want me to be happy. I've been trying to make sure you haven't noticed any changes. The alternative is divorce and you pay alimony and child support. I love you. I don't want that," she said, in a calm, calculating tone. I tried to stay calm, but I was burning up inside. "You've got it all figured out, don't you? You lied to me, and now you expect me to accept it? Please don't look at it that way, dear," she pleaded. "Don't call me that." I snapped. "Anger and swearing don't help," she said, with a reproachful tone. "It may not work, but it makes me feel better." I countered. "I know it's hard to accept, but it doesn't bother us. You haven't noticed it before, and you won't notice it again. It's just something I do for myself, like volunteering in my free time," she explained, her tone cold. "Well, assuming I believe you, which I don't, but why now?" I asked, sounding skeptical. "What do you mean?" she asked suspiciously. "You've been successfully lying to me for a year. Why tell me now?" I questioned the need to understand her motives. "I want to show you how much I love you, and how grateful I am that you're allowing this. But Jake is taking me to Hawaii for a week," Olivia said, in a quiet but firm voice. "Are you kidding me? You're going away for a week with your lover, while I work to support you. And I have to welcome you back? What have I done to deserve such disrespect?" I retorted, barely able to contain my anger. "You didn't do anything wrong, Nathan. It's not disrespectful. I need you to understand that I'm doing this for me, and it doesn't change the way I feel about you." she answered, pleading for understanding. I don't understand. What about Holly? How are you going to explain your solo vacation? We've always traveled as a family. I questioned, trying to understand the situation. I've told Holly that I'm going on a trip with some friends. It won't interfere with our family vacation this summer. She doesn't mind. Might even be glad I'm going. Olivia explained, almost cheerfully. She giggled. It felt like a joke. You think I'd let her believe that lie? I asked incredulously. What proof do you have that this is not the case, Nathan? I showed her the brochure and promised to tell her all the details when I got back. She'd rather believe me than you, she said, with confidence. So you can do whatever you want and my opinion doesn't matter? If I don't like it, that's too bad. You're counting on it after this. And stay married to me? I questioned, feeling the weight of her betrayal. We love each other, Nathan. Everything will be back to normal when I get back. Olivia insisted, her tone soothing but unconvincing. It's changed everything, but you've done your duty to tell me. Have fun. Unlike you, I don't lie. If you change your mind, I'll be in the woodshop, I said, with a voice full of resignation. Nathan, be careful. It's dangerous to operate power tools when you're upset, she warned. I went down to the basement, ignoring her words. I can't believe she thought I'd agree to this. Despite what she thinks, I'm going to tell Sophia what her mother is doing. Hawaii, for God's sake. We were planning on going as a family. Now she's decided to go with the guy. I consider every option I have. In our no-fault state, divorce means I'm responsible for child support and possibly alimony. I can afford it, but I don't like her living with her boyfriend. And the idea of me working and living alone. I don't see any other option but to wait until Sophia goes to college. But I'm never touching Olivia again. I'd been in the workroom for a couple hours when I heard Sophia come home. Usually she's with a friend or Dean on Saturdays. I decided to tell Sophia the truth. Instead, I heard her talking to Olivia. Hey, Mom, did you tell Dad about your trip to Hawaii with Mr. Harrison? Sophia asked, her voice casual but curious. Damn it, she knows everything. Olivia didn't make up her friend's story. Sophia knows the truth and doesn't mind. Who is Mr. Harrison? Does Sophia know him? I felt a surge of anger and confusion. Yes, I told him. He's not happy. He's sulking in the woodshop. But he'll take it. He has no choice. Olivia replied, her tone contemptuous. I can't believe how selfish he is, Mom. If he really loves you, he should be happy that you can fulfill your needs. He must accept that you need a younger man, as long as he gets what he wants. He would have no reason to complain. Sophia said, her voice full of teenage indignation. Whose kid is this? Olivia's obviously been feeding Sophia this crap for years. She's really becoming Olivia all over again, and I realized that with a sinking feeling. I told him, but he took it personally. His fragile male ego can't accept that he can't fulfill all my needs. I explained that people change with age, but he sees me as his woman. Olivia continued, her voice full of contempt. There's no respect. I'm glad I introduced you to Mr. Harrison. He's excited about the trip and has special plans for you. Sophia said almost gleefully. How does my 18-year-old daughter know someone older than her? And Olivia can date him and afford a trip to Hawaii? These questions flashed through my mind, but at least I had a name to investigate. Honey, please don't talk to him about our sex life, okay? It's uncomfortable and inappropriate. Olivia reprimanded, her voice suddenly harsh. You told me that you and Dad are not sexually compatible and that it's time to find a lover. Just like Grandma did, you complain about not meeting the right person. I found one for you. You should thank me, Sophia answered, sounding defiant and a little proud. Yes, but you still shouldn't talk to Harrison about it. You're underage, and he's your teacher, Olivia said, her voice filled with worry. I can't believe what I'm hearing. My wife and daughter are conspiring together, and Sophia's talking about things she's not even supposed to understand. I need to address this issue head-on, but first I need to get all the facts. And that's when I heard the big news. Now my plans have shifted dramatically. I'm not living under the same roof with these two betrayers anymore. Divorce isn't an option. I'll be responsible for expenses until Sophia graduates in June. I'll move out, live somewhere else, keep a family account for bills and food. I'll keep in touch via email and phone to decide what to pay. Sophia gets everything she wants, like the car she's been asking for. It's over. I can arrange everything in 2 weeks. I can easily find a place to stay. I won't pretend everything's okay, but I won't make a scene either. Sophia will know eventually. I know the role she played in her mother's betrayal. I'm curious how she'll react. I'm going upstairs to take a shower, and I'm going out to dinner. I don't want to sit at the same table as the betrayer. When I entered the kitchen, they both looked at me. Sophia came running, as usual. "Hello, Dad," Sophia says, in a cheerful voice. She tried to hug me, but I just stood there. She stepped back in confusion. "What is it, Daddy?" she asked, confused. I looked at them and walked to my bedroom. Before I can leave, I'll move my things to the guest room. Now, I'm gonna close the door and step into the shower. Of course, Olivia can't leave me alone. She found a way in. "What the fuck is going on here? You can be angry with me, but don't take it out on your daughter. She didn't do anything to hurt you," Olivia said, her voice shrill. I stared at her, then went back to the shower. "So it's the silent treatment? How mature. When you stop sulking, tell me dinner is ready," she said, slammed the door and left. I shrugged and got dressed. When I came out, I saw the meeting. When I entered the room, they were silent. Sophia smiled and wished I could join them, but I turned and walked out. I drove off in my BMW. I was eating alone at the local steakhouse, reading news articles to pass the time. No one called me. I went to a late-night movie, came home around 1 a.m., and everyone was asleep. I quickly fell asleep in the guest room. Of course, my peace didn't last long. Despite everything, I still find Olivia attractive. "Why did you sleep here last night?" she asked. "To avoid you, Olivia. I don't want to sleep with you," I answered bluntly. "It looks like part of you is still interested," she said. "Reach out." I turned away, got up from the bed, and saw the disappointment on her face. "Nathan, I'm still the woman you've loved all these years. Let me take care of you," she said softly. "You're not the same woman, and that's not your heart. Olivia, as long as you have another partner, I won't accept it. It's your choice, your husband or your boyfriend," I said firmly. "You're being unreasonable. I know you love me. You'll see my point eventually. I want you to be happy. You'll give me that," she said and left the room. The next 2 weeks flew by, and I worked late every night. I started preparing for my departure while thinking about how to handle the situation. I decided to stop trying to save the marriage. Olivia's betrayal and Sophia's attitude made me realize I needed to look out for myself. I started quietly packing my personal belongings, planning to move out before Olivia got back. During this time, I tried to avoid too much contact with Olivia and Sophia. When having to talk, I keep it short and detached. I know Olivia sensed a change in me, but she seems to think it's a temporary reaction. The other night, Olivia tried to talk to me. "Nathan, I know you're still angry, but I want you to understand my needs. When I get back, we can talk and start over." I just replied coldly, "Olivia, you made your choice and I made mine. When you come back, you'll realize things are different." My answer obviously upset her, but I no longer cared about her feelings. My focus is on protecting myself and preparing for my new life. Sophia seems to have noticed the change in atmosphere as well. A few times, she tried to approach me, but I kept my distance. I knew it might hurt her. But after her involvement in this betrayal, I needed time to reevaluate our relationship. Just the day before Olivia left, Sophia finally came to talk to me. "Dad, we need to talk. You've been so quiet lately and it worries me." I looked at her and tried to control my emotions. "Sophia, there's nothing to say now. You and your mom made a choice, and I'm going to make one for myself. But Dad, we're a family. We should work things out together," she pleaded. I shook my head. "Families are built on trust and respect, Sophia. When those don't exist, we need to rethink everything." My words obviously shocked her. I could see the confusion and hurt in her eyes, but I knew it was necessary. I need to make her understand that there are consequences for her behavior. The next day, as Olivia prepared to leave, I chose to stay in the workroom. I heard her walking upstairs, packing. Then the sound of a cab arriving. "Nathan," she called from downstairs. "I'm leaving. Won't you come say goodbye?" I didn't answer. A few minutes later, I heard the front door close and then the sound of a car starting to leave. That's how my marriage practically ended. But for me, it's not an end. It's a chance for a new beginning. I know the next few days will be tough, but I'm determined to rebuild my life. The week Olivia left, I took a vacation. While Sophia was at school, I quietly moved my things out. I moved the stuff from the guest room back into the bedroom, hoping to make Sophia think I'd stay. It gives them a false sense of security. I avoided mentioning my move or divorce, trying to convince Olivia that I'll be here when she gets back. She expects to be back Saturday night. I plan to leave before then. Sophia knows that I figured out that she's involved in this affair, and she's not hiding her behavior anymore. One night, while she was preparing dinner, my phone rang. "It's Olivia." I didn't answer. Then Sophia's phone rang, and I overheard her conversation. "Hi, Mom. How was your trip?" "Sounds great." "No, he's here, since he knows who it is. You know I introduced you, so there's no need to hide. He moved his stuff back into your bedroom as soon as you left. He's bluffing. Like you said, I think he's accepted it." "Okay, I'll tell him I love you." And then she relayed Olivia's words. "Mom told me to tell you that she loves you, and that when she comes back, everything will be the same as before." I nodded and accepted her words. The following week was similar. I gradually moved my things to a new apartment, taking only my personal belongings. Friday night, I realized that my relationship with Sophia was beyond repair. After dinner, Sophia approached me. "Are you never going to talk to me again, except to complain and simply answer?" Sophia asked, her voice a mixture of frustration and hurt. I looked at her quizzically. "What makes you think I forgave your mom?" "You've moved back into the bedroom, which means you'll be sleeping there with her." "And forgave her," she replied, in a tone that implied it was an obvious conclusion. "Sophia, I have not and will never forgive your mother for ruining everything we had," I said, my voice smooth, but full of underlying pain. "I don't understand why you're doing this," Sophia replied, her voice rising in frustration. "No, she wants it. That's the difference. You're 18, Sophia. You don't fully understand," I answered, trying to stay calm. She stood up and said angrily, "Just because I'm 18 doesn't mean I can't understand what Mom's going through." She explained everything to me. I got angry, too. I raised my voice. Yes, she explained everything from her selfish point of view. She decided that only she mattered. "This is ridiculous, Dad. She's here every day for you and me. When she finally does something for herself, you can't stand it," Sophia retorted, and her words stung me. "Oh, Dad, I'm so sorry." Suddenly realizing the impact of her words, she added. At that moment, the anger and hatred I felt for my daughter was uncontrollable. "Sophia, stop it. Don't ever talk to me again," I said. My voice was cold and final. I walked out, into my bedroom for the last time, ignoring Sophia's pleas. I spent the night packing up the rest of my things, my heart heavy with broken trust and broken relationships. The night Olivia left, I walked into the bedroom we used to share for the last time. I look around at the items filled with memories and have mixed feelings. 20 years of marriage, and it's over. I took a deep breath and started packing my personal belongings. Early the next morning, while Sophia was still sleeping, I quietly moved my luggage to the car. I left a note on the kitchen table. "Sophia, I'm moving out. I will continue to pay the family's bills and your tuition. If there's an emergency, you can email me, Dad." I didn't leave a new address. I didn't say goodbye. And with that, I left a home that was once filled with laughter and love. Started a new life. I rented a small apartment in the center of town. Although the rooms are small, there is a spacious balcony overlooking the city skyline. I stood on the balcony, looking at the unfamiliar landscape. It feels like I'm starting my life over. For the next few weeks, I buried myself in work. I'm trying not to think about Olivia and Sophia, but their shadows always linger in my mind. Sometimes, I'll get a text from Sophia asking when I'm coming home, or tell me how much she misses me. My heart aches every time I read these messages. But I know I need time, and space to heal my wounds. One Saturday, about a month later, I decided to relax in the pool below my apartment building. I lay down on a lounge chair by the pool and closed my eyes, trying to calm my thoughts. Suddenly, a voice interrupted my musings. "Hi, I haven't seen you before. Are you new to the neighborhood?" I opened my eyes and saw a beautiful woman standing in front of me. She has long brown hair and a warm smile. "Yeah, moved here about a month ago. I'm Nathan," I replied, trying to squeeze out a smile. "Nice to meet you, Nathan. I'm Ella. Can I sit here?" She pointed to the recliner next to her. "Sure, have a seat," I said. "Sit up a little." Ella sat down and her eyes fell on my hand. "So, are you recently divorced or just trying to look single?" she asked, a sly glint in her eye. I looked at her in surprise. "How did you know?" "You have ring marks on your finger," she explained, "and I noticed you were looking at my fingers, too." I have to admit, she's very observant. "Yes, I just got divorced," I said, feeling a little awkward. "I'm sorry to hear that," Ella said, her voice full of sympathy. "If you want to talk, I'm a good listener." For some reason, I found myself wanting to confide in this stranger. I told her about Olivia's betrayal, about Sophia's reaction, and how I decided to leave. Ella listened quietly, occasionally nodding or asking questions. By the end of the chat, I felt much lighter. Ella invited me to have dinner with her tonight. I hesitated, but finally said yes. That night we had dinner at a small restaurant and talked a lot. Learning that Ella is a single mom with an 8-year-old daughter, Lucy. Her ex-husband cheated on her and left her a few years ago. "I understand how you feel, Nathan." Ella says, "Betrayal is one of the hardest things to accept. But believe me, time heals all." I looked into Ella's eyes and for the first time I felt hope. Maybe this new life isn't as scary as I thought. Over the next few weeks, Ella and I saw each other a lot. We take walks, go to the movies, or just sit on the balcony and talk. Her daughter Lucy is also adorable and always full of energy. Little by little, I found myself looking forward to my time with them. However, my peaceful life was soon shattered. One night, I got a call from Olivia. I hesitated, but answered it. "Nathan, where are you? How could you just leave like that?" Olivia's voice is full of anger and frustration. "Olivia, I've made it very clear that our marriage is over." I answered calmly. "No, it's not possible. We can start over and I promise I won't see that guy again," she pleaded. I take a deep breath. "It's too late, Olivia. You made your choice and I made mine. I've filed for divorce. You'll get the papers soon." There was silence on the other end of the line for a moment, and then came Olivia's sobs. "Nathan, please, don't. I love you. I need you." I felt a pang of heartache, but I knew I had to hold on. "I'm sorry, Olivia, but this is reality. I will continue to pay the family's bills and Sophia's tuition, but our marriage is over." When I hung up, I felt exhausted. I sat on my balcony, looking at the city lights and pondering if I had made the right decision. Just then I got a text from Ella asking if I was okay. I replied that I needed to talk, and a few minutes later she came knocking on my door. We sat on the couch and I gave her Olivia's number. Ella listened quietly, then took my hand in hers. "Nathan, you made the right decision. You deserve better," she said softly. Looking into Ella's eyes, I suddenly realized that I had fallen in love with her. But I'm not sure I'm ready to start a new relationship. "Ella, I opened my mouth, but she gently placed a finger on my lips. "Hush, I know. We don't need to rush. We have time," she smiled and said. And so we sat quietly, enjoying each other's company. Meanwhile, at my old house, Olivia's life was in turmoil. Not only did she lose my financial support, but Sophia suffered because of her behavior. Sophia began to alienate her mother, often staying away from home all day. Her grades began to slip and her bright college prospects became uncertain. Olivia tries to communicate with her daughter, but every conversation ends in an argument. "Mom, you're ruining our family," Sophia shouted during a heated argument. "Daddy left because of you." Olivia stood there in tears. She finally realized that her selfish actions had not only hurt me, but also her beloved daughter. One night Olivia was sitting alone in the living room with a picture of our family in her hand. All three of us are smiling so much in the photo. She stroked the photo, tears streaming down her face. What did I do? She muttered. How can I fix this? Olivia started trying to change. She quit drinking and started going to counseling. She tries to rebuild her relationship with Sophia, albeit slowly, but at least they're starting to be able to have civilized conversations. However, they are still plagued by economic problems. I pay my bills and Sophia's tuition on time, but no more extra pocket money. Olivia had to get a part-time job to make ends meet. Meanwhile, Ella and I were getting closer. We started dating officially, and Lucy accepted me. One day, when we were having a picnic in the park, Lucy suddenly asked me, Uncle Nathan, will you be my new daddy? I looked at Ella. Her eyes were full of love and anticipation. I realized that maybe it was time to let go of the past for good and embrace a new life. I'd love to, if your mom's okay with it, I replied, taking Ella's hand in mine. Just then, my cell phone rang. It was a text from Sophia. Dad, can we talk? I miss you. I looked at the message and was filled with mixed emotions. I know that no matter how much my life changes, Sophia will always be my daughter. I need to find a way to balance my new life with my responsibilities to my daughter. I replied, Okay, Sophia, we can meet up and talk. Looking at Ella and Lucy and then Sophia's message on her phone, I realized that life is always full of challenges and opportunities. Though the wounds of the past remain, the future is full of promise. I took a deep breath and prepared for a new challenge. I'm sitting in the cafe, nervously waiting for Sophia to arrive. This is the first time we've officially met since I moved out. I didn't know what to expect, but I knew this conversation was important to both of us. When Sophia walked into the cafe, I hardly recognized her. She looked much more mature than before, with a hint of melancholy in her eyes. A hesitant smile crossed her face when she saw me. Hi, Dad, she said softly, sitting down across from me. Hi, Sophia, I responded. You look great. We fell into an awkward silence. Finally, Sophia took a deep breath and spoke up. Dad, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for what I said, for what I did. I looked into her eyes and saw genuine remorse. What happened, Sophia? What made you change your mind? I asked softly. Sophia's eyes are moist. A lot of things, Dad. First of all, Dean and I broke up. I nodded, recalling the name Dean. He was Sophia's boyfriend for almost 2 years in high school. I remember him as a sunny, cheerful boy, whom Sophia had talked about with excitement countless times. I'm sorry to hear that, honey. What happened? Shortly after you left, I thought you were an asshole. But then Mr. Harrison was expelled, and soon the whole school knew why. She explained, her voice trembling. I listened quietly and let her go on. Since Mom can't give me an allowance, Dean pays for everything. Then he started pressuring me for a more intimate relationship. Sophia lowered her head, a look of shame on her face. I felt a surge of anger, but I tried to stay calm. Did you turn him down? Sophia nods. Yes, Dad, but it got me thinking about a lot of things. I'm beginning to realize that I've been defending my mother, but what she did was wrong. I reached for Sophia's hand. I'm proud of you, Sophia. You made the right decision. She squeezed out a smile and continued. I started talking to Leslie's parents. I lost a lot of friends, but they've always been good to me. I remember Leslie was Sophia's best friend since grade school. They were inseparable. They spent almost all weekends at each other's houses. I'm so glad to hear that Leslie and her family are still supporting Sophia during these difficult times. I told them that Mom said a woman spends her life taking care of her family. She has the right to do something for herself. But they said that Mom was acting like a bad wife and mother. Sophia continued. I nodded, feeling a little relieved. At least someone's helping Sophia see the truth. They talked to me about marriage vows and commitments. Sophia continues. Leslie's dad was once very sick. He told Leslie's mom if she needed to find someone else. He understands because he can't be with her. But Leslie's mom got mad and said that the oath was to be faithful in good times and bad. She never wanted to betray him. I can feel my eyes getting wet. It's a good example, Sophia. That marriage takes two people working together. Sophia nods, tears in her eyes. Dad, I'm really sorry. I didn't think about your feelings. I got carried away with Mom's excitement and our secret. I was wrong. I stood up, walked over to Sophia, and gave her a hug. I forgive you, baby. I know you need to understand this for yourself. If I try to tell you, it might just make you resent me more. I'm glad you finally realized what's right and what's wrong. Sophia was sobbing in my arms. Does that mean you're coming back into my life, Dad? I stroked her hair gently. Of course, my dear. As a matter of fact, I have important news for you. I'm getting married, and I want you to be there. Sophia looked up at me in surprise. Really? Who is it? I told her about Ella and Lucy. Sophia listened attentively, and though there was a twinkle of uneasiness in her eyes, she tried to look happy. I'm happy for you, Dad. She finally said, Can I see them? I laughed. Of course. In fact, Ella wants you to be a bridesmaid. We're going to invite Leslie too, if you'd like. Sophia's eyes lit up. Really? I'd love to. Leslie would be thrilled. We talked for a while about Sophia's studies and future plans. When we were about to leave, Sophia suddenly became nervous. Dad, there's one more thing. She said hesitantly. Yes, dear. Can I stay with you? She's almost whispering. I froze. Don't you want to live with your mom anymore? Sophia shakes her head, worry in her eyes. Dad, Mom. She's not right. She's always drunk. She comes home in the middle of the night. Sometimes strangers would bring her back. I often stay at Leslie's because I'm afraid to be home alone. I felt a surge of anger and concern. No matter how angry I am at Olivia, I don't want anything to happen to her. More importantly, I can't put Sophia in danger. Of course, Sophia, I said, but we need to talk to your mom about this. I immediately texted Ella and told her the situation. She was totally supportive, said we could rearrange the rooms to make room for Sophia. The next day, I had the courage to go to my old house. When Olivia opened the door, I hardly recognized her. She looks haggard and hollow-eyed. Nathan, she said in surprise, are you back? No, Olivia, I said calmly, we need to talk. We sat in the living room, and I told her what Sophia had told me. Olivia started crying, admitting that her life had spiraled out of control since I left. I don't know what to do, Nathan. She sobbed, LV lost you, and now even Sophia's leaving me. Even though I'm still angry at Olivia for what she did, but it still hurts me to see her so broken. Olivia, you need help? I said gently but firmly, for yourself and for Sophia. In the end, we decided to put Olivia in treatment at a sober living center. I promised to take care of Sophia during her treatment and help her get back on her feet. When I broke the news to Sophia, she was relieved, but also worried about her mother. Mommy's gonna be okay, right? She asked. It will, dear, I reassured her. Your mom's a strong person. She'll get through this. Over the next few weeks, we were busy helping Olivia get admitted to the hospital and preparing Sophia for her move. Ella has been very supportive, helping Sophia set up her new room and making her feel at home. Lucy's excited to have a big sister. Although awkward at first, Sophia soon fell in love with this lively, sweet little girl. My wedding to Ella went on as planned. It was a sunny day, full of laughter and blessings. When I stood in front of the podium and watched Ella walk towards me, I felt so happy. Sophia stood beside me as a bridesmaid with a genuine smile on her face. After the wedding, our lives were on track. Sophia's grades began to improve, and she regained confidence in her future. Ella became her mentor and helped her through many difficult times. Olivia is making progress in her treatment. It was a long and difficult road, but she slowly rebuilt her life. She got a new job and began to rebuild her relationship with Sophia. One day, Olivia came to our house and wanted to talk to Sophia. I was a little worried, but Ella encouraged me to give them some privacy. A few hours later, when Sophia and Olivia came out of their room, I saw them both crying, but with relieved smiles on their faces. Sophia came over and hugged me. Thank you, Daddy, she whispered, for not giving up on us. I can feel my eyes getting wet. I'll never give up on you, Sophia. You're my daughter. I love you. That night, as I lay in bed with Ella, I felt a deep sense of fulfillment. Are you okay? Ella asked softly, holding my hand. I looked at her with love in my heart. Better than ever, I said, "Thank you, Ella. Thank you for giving me a second chance to believe in love again." Ella smiled and kissed me. "We both deserve to be happy, Nathan. I'm glad we found each other." It was at that moment that I realized that although life had dealt me a heavy blow, but it also gave me a chance to start over. I've lost some things, but I've also gained new treasures. I have a new wife, a new daughter, and my Sophia has returned to me. Life isn't perfect, but it's good. We're all learning, growing, healing, and most importantly, we're together. I close my eyes and my heart is filled with anticipation of what's to come. Whatever challenges lie ahead, I know we can face them together. Time flies. In a flash, Ella and I have been married for 7 years. Standing in our spacious backyard, watching the kids run and play in the grass, I can't help but feel a lot of emotions. Lucy, now a 15-year-old teenager, is teaching her 5-year-old sister Amelia to play jump rope. Ella and I's oldest daughter, Amelia, inherited her mother's curly brown hair and my blue eyes. She's an energetic little girl. And Tamara, 3, is a never-ending elf. He's chasing a butterfly around the yard right now. Ella sat on the balcony with her 8-month-old belly and smiled at the situation. Yes, we're expecting another daughter. We're still arguing about her name, but it looks like Ella's sister Lori is likely to get her namesake. "Daddy!" Sophia's voice came from behind me, interrupting my thoughts. I turn around and see my oldest daughter, now a beautiful and confident 25-year-old woman. "It's coming my way. Ready?" I asked, my heart filled with pride and a hint of nervousness. Sophia nodded, excitement sparkling in her eyes. "I think so." It was a little nerve-wracking, but I knew it was the right decision. It's Sophia's big day. She's about to enter into marriage. Thinking back to the girl who cried in the cafe 7 years ago, I can't help but feel comforted. Sophia's not just out of the woods, and also re-established the right outlook on life and love with Ella's help. Her fiancé, Alex, is a wonderful young man whom Sophia met in college. They dated for 3 years, supporting each other and growing together. I'm glad to see Sophia has found someone who truly respects and cherishes her. Well, we should get going. Ella came over and patted me on the shoulder. Then we drove to the church. In the dressing room, I was helping Sophia with her veil when I suddenly felt a rush of emotions come over me. "Dad, are you okay?" Sophia asked with concern. I nodded, trying to keep my emotions in check. I'm so proud of you, Sophia. You've grown so beautiful and strong." Tears welled up in Sophia's eyes, and she hugged me tightly. "Thank you, Dad, for always being there for me. Didn't give up on me even when I made mistakes." Just then, there was a knock on the door. "It's Olivia. May I come in?" she asked softly. Sophia nods and Olivia walks in, even though we're no longer married. But to see Olivia's face beaming with happiness and pride right now, I still feel a little bit of relief. Over the years, Olivia went through a long and difficult recovery process. After receiving treatment at a sober living center, she worked to rebuild her life. She looked healthy and peaceful now, a far cry from the haggard woman she had been 7 years before. "Oh, Sophia, you're so beautiful," Olivia whispered, tears welling up in her eyes. Mother and daughter hugged each other, and the scene reminded me of the past. Despite all the ups and downs we've been through, right now, we're all standing here. Rejoice in Sophia's happiness. The music is playing. It's time. I took Sophia's hand and felt her tremble slightly. "Ready, little princess?" I asked gently. Sophia takes a deep breath and smiles brightly. "Ready, Dad." As we walked slowly down the aisle of the church, a million memories flashed through my mind. The moment I held Sophia in my arms for the first time when she was born. The way I held out my hands to catch her when she was a toddler. The look of reluctance in her eyes on her first day of school, and that reunion in the cafe. Before we knew it, we had walked to the church. Alex is looking at Sophia with love. I saw the commitment and determination in his eyes. I gently handed Sophia's hand over to Alex and planted a blessed kiss on her forehead. "Be happy," I whispered. The wedding went well. When the pastor announced that Alex and Sophia were officially husband and wife, the whole church went wild. I sat in the front row, and watched Sophia's heart fill with joy as her face beamed with happiness. At the wedding reception, I noticed Olivia talking softly to her husband, Martin. They've been married for 3 years. Martin's a solid, reliable guy. Gave Olivia the support and understanding she needed. I'm so happy for Olivia that she's found her happiness. Suddenly, I felt a tap on my shoulder. Leslie, Sophia's best friend and maid of honor. Uncle Nathan, she smiled. Sophia would like you to dance with her. I nodded and walked to the center of the dance floor. When I took Sophia's hand, there were tears in her eyes. Thank you, Daddy, she whispered. Thank you for your continued dedication and understanding. We were swaying to the music, and everything around us seemed to blur. Right now, all I can think about is my little girl, my Sophia. I love you, Daddy, Sophia said, leaning on my shoulder. I love you too, baby, forever. I answered, feeling tears welling up in my eyes. After the dance, I handed Sophia over to Alex, then walked back to Ella. She took my hand gently and gave me an understanding smile. Are you okay? She asked softly. I nodded and took a deep breath. I'm fine, I'm just a little emotional. Ella leaned on my shoulder, and we watched the happy crowd on the dance floor. Later, as the guests began to leave, I found a quiet corner. Olivia came over, 2 glasses of champagne in her hand. To our daughter, she said, handing me one of the glasses. I took the champagne and clinked glasses with her. To Sophia's happiness. We stood there in silence, watching Sophia and Alex say goodbye to their guests. Despite everything that's happened between Olivia and me. But in this moment, we're all so proud of our daughter. Nathan, Olivia snapped, I don't think I've formally apologized to you for everything. I turned to look at her and saw the sincerity and the apology in her eyes. I know we can't change the past, she continued, but I want you to know that I really regret what I did. To see you and Ella so happy, to see Sophia find true love. I'm really happy for you guys. I took a deep breath, and it felt as if some of the burdens of the years were slowly being lifted. Thank you, Olivia. I'm happy for you, too. We've all found our happiness, and that's all that matters. We smiled at each other, raised our glasses, and took another sip of champagne. Just then, Ella came over. What are we talking about? She asked gently, taking my arm. We're doing Sophia proud. I answered and kissed Ella on the forehead. Olivia nodded, a genuine smile on her face. Ella, thank you. Thank you for taking care of Nathan and Sophia. You've given them the happiness I couldn't. Ella smiled and said, we're all family, and the important thing is that we're all in Sophia's life. Give her love and support. I felt a deep sense of satisfaction as I watched them chatting amicably. Life hits us hard, but it also gives us a chance to start over. We've all lost something, but we've also gained a new treasure. As night falls, the wedding is finally over. Ella and I came home with tired but happy kids. As we lay in bed, Ella held my hand gently. You look wonderful today, my dear father-in-law, she teased. I laughed and pulled her close. Our little princess has grown up? Ella stroked my cheek tenderly. Yes, she's grown up, but you know what? Our story continues. She gestured to her bulging belly. I put my hand on her belly, feeling the new life. You're right. Our story has just begun. I close my eyes and think back over the last 7 years. We've been through so much. Laughter, tears, challenges. But in the end, we found true happiness. I thought I'd lost everything, but now I have so much more. A loving wife, lovely children, a renewed relationship with my daughter. He even settled with his ex-wife. Life gave me a second chance, and I savored every moment. Tomorrow, the sun will still rise. We'll face new challenges, but I know that as long as we're together, there's nothing we can't overcome. With that in mind, I slowly fell asleep, looking forward to tomorrow. Looking forward to a new chapter in our story. Thank you for taking the time to listen to today's story. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you have a story to share about your own or someone else's experience, please feel free to contact me. Take care.